podcast. I think this is the fourth one or the fifth one. Yeah, that's how we started.
I like that.
You like that shit, yeah. It's good, right?
Where is this from?
I got this as a gift from my parents. It's from Hong Kong, actually.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
Never been to Hong Kong.
Never been to Hong Kong. Hong Kong, it used to be sick. Now it's fucked.
Which one do they call like what's the nickname for Hong Kong? Sin City? No, Sin City's Vegas.
Sin City is Vegas.
Hong Kong or Shanghai has one. It's like the Devil's something, or one of them have a crazy name.
I think it's Osaka.
Okay.
I think Osaka, because I remember when I was there, my friend was telling me that this is like the devil's place, but I could be wrong. I don't actually know.
Okay.
I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
But today we have Wayne over here. Wayne, could you please tell me a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, how you ended up over here, all the good stuff, just the basics.
Cool. I'll try and keep it relatively short, and I guess we can dive in a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
But so Wayne grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. Spent the first 17 years of my life there. Then from there, I went to Howard University in Washington, D.C. I did 4 years there, studied political science. Thought for a while that I wanted to be a diplomat until I did like some study abroad programs and did internships with the different federal government agencies and such. And I decided that I didn't want to climb up the ranks through the government, but instead kind of establish myself in business first and then consider making a step back. So then instead I joined a company called Nielsen in their Emerging Leaders Program, which is a 2-year, 4 rotational program. So I was in New York for a bit, Atlanta for a bit, back in Texas, then made a move to Warsaw, Poland, of all places, and then was in Poland for about 2.5 years. Then the company relocated me here.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. It's interesting that you said that about political science. I also studied like diplomacy.
Nice.
And it was the same with me, man. I was like, you know what? This is totally not my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to get involved with this stuff. It's simply not for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's good to have the understanding though that it gives you, because I would say if you would take like a political science or a social sciences background in comparison to business or something else, those are necessary, but these kind of teach you how to think. A little bit. Think, theory, question sort of thing. So then,
I mean, for me, it was kind of like a modern history lesson.
Okay.
Basically, like
true.
where the countries are situated in the world, what's the balance, like the hegemony of the whole thing. And,
yeah,
man, wow. Huh. I didn't know that you studied political science.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you do any sports growing up?
I did. Man,
Hold on. Oh, sorry. You want this? Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, I thought these were decorations for a second.
No.
So, sir, thank you very much.
First things first.
Egg sugar today.
Hey, shake it up. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Oh, damn. They're not cold.
I'm loving the way he's just giving her the side eye.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll survive. So
sports. Yeah, man. So I tried almost everything growing up. Mainly growing up was playing football. So did like football, baseball, American football.
I was about to say,
yeah, being from Texas. I did play soccer as well, though, growing up until like high school. Even at one point, I tried gymnastics for like 2 lessons till my dad took me out because he said I was going to be gay. So that's kind of a Texas background. Then, and while in high school, I switched to, played a little bit of football. Then I switched to rugby, wrestling, and tennis. Then in college, I moved into more of the martial arts space, and now I do Muay Thai.
Wow. Yeah, that's a colorful resume of sports you got.
Yeah,
Jesus.
for sure. The one thing that I'm missing out clearly, especially being here in Europe, is basketball. So that was the sad part, was anytime I was playing, because I went to like majority white and Mexican schools. So then when we were at lunchtime and we're always trying to choose to say, okay, which team are you going on? Clearly they would say, okay, black guy, choose him first. And that was the worst choice I think they could have made. But yeah, basketball is not my forte.
Wow. Yeah. For me, ironically, I love basketball.
Okay.
Even though I sucked at it, man,
Yeah.
I was terrible. But I love playing basketball. And
Nice.
I would play basketball when I was in high school in the U.S. and I'd be the only white guy.
Yeah.
And I would just get crushed every time. But I had heart, and they liked me for that. So
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah. And it's one of those sports that you can kind of play forever a little bit.
Yeah,
You might
yeah.
not be able to run around and everything, but it's not like playing American football or something. You only have so many years you can do that.
Man, American football is sick, actually. If you're watching it live,
Yeah.
If you're because I can't stand watching it on TV.
Okay, why not?
There's so many advertisements.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like it was amazing because I went to these high school football games. And it was so cool because I knew the players.
Okay.
You know, so it was like, oh man, it was epic. But like,
what state were you in again?
New York.
New York. Yeah, that was it. I remember.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Like when it came to TV, I just don't like watching sports in general. I don't know, but do you watch sports?
No.
Right?
So like, that's the other sad part is once people hear I'm from the U.S., the first thing they want to do is talk to me about sports, and I'm like, man, to be honest with you, I'm not big on following them. I do it more on like a social level. So either if the friends want to go play, I'm down to go play, or if they're saying, okay, let's go drink some beers and watch international football, I guess I could call it, then I'm down for that. But do I know players' names, teams' names? Not really.
It's heavy shit how people can memorize all this stuff.
Yeah, dude.
You know, there's people that are obsessed with it, and then they have like I don't remember what it was called. I think it's like Fantasy League.
Yeah.
Or
so they play like fantasy football, all of these. Yeah. People make money.
Yeah. It's like they have like careers.
Yeah.
Like just looking at other people play the sport and then making money off it. Yeah,
it's a huge passion for them, and that's always just the interesting thing for me. I think when I've been considering like growing up in the U.S. to like people in Europe, just the knowledge and background that people have, and then I just ask myself like, how much time have you invested in like learning that? And if you hadn't spent so much time on that, it's a passion for you. You know, enjoy your hobby, but like, what else could you have done?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just like my dad is absolutely obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So like he knows everything about football, soccer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, true.
And I don't know. It's just his thing. It was never my thing. I don't know. For me, I like music.
Okay.
I would just memorize like songs and who wrote them. I guess that's also crazy. It's like, this song was written in 1982 behind a fucking bar. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but you play guitar, right? Because you have over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Bass.
Dope.
And I used to play drums earlier. But then when I moved to the States, I had to leave my drum set there.
Okay.
And I just stopped. So I played that from like 13 until 17. And then when I moved out, you can't bring that with you.
Gotcha.
And then I picked up guitar when I was 20.
Okay.
Just because I was into working out a lot and I got injured.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't like move basically for like 6 months. I was fucked.
What happened?
I injured my back.
Okay.
And I was actually in the hospital for like 3-4 days.
That was from lifting?
It was like a number of things actually, and to this day they don't really know what the hell it was. Like luckily it was just muscle. But you know, if it's muscle pain, then the pain is more intense, but it's less serious than if you damaged your bone.
Yeah. So it was like a strain or something.
It was like a really serious stretch. Yeah. Like in my lower back.
Okay. But I think they say the muscle tears actually take longer to heal than bone. So.
Yeah. Is it maybe? I mean, I don't know, honestly. But it really sucked, and I lost a bunch of weight. I was 83 kilos. Yeah. And in 3 months, I think less than 3 months, I went from 83 to 67 kilos.
Jesus.
So it was like, like all my gains were like out the window. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like, what can I do now? I don't want to, because I was just sitting around playing video games, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I can't do shit. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna learn how to play guitar, and I just really got into it.
Oh, that's cool, man. And I don't know if it's that muscles like take longer, but if you think about with bones, once a bone breaks, it calluses and comes back stronger. You know, but muscles don't do that. They usually stay weak after they've had that tear. Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like I'm never gonna be as like strong as I was
built and stuff.
Yeah, because I'm just scared to do it.
Yeah, for sure. But this is why you do like rock climbing and stuff that you could stay play the long game.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't want to be that like jacked anyway. Now I'm like 77, 78 kilos, which is like decent for my height. Yeah.
And you have the functional strength.
That's what I want now.
That's the important thing.
Yeah, that's what I want now. That's why I think rock climbing is sick, because you just get that exactly correct, the functional strength. Yeah. Yeah. It's like agility and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's you still got to come for one of those.
Definitely, man.
But you're busy, huh? You're going places. Where are you going?
Listen, man, that's why I just tell you, like, let me know at least like a few days in advance.
But you're always like, oh, I can't, bro. I'm gonna be in Cyprus. It's like, oh, no, sorry, bro. I'm going to Greece. So tell me, where are you going this week?
Yeah. So I mean, usually like my annual goal is always to hit at least 4 new countries per year. And then by going to the different places, you have the friends and stuff. So then, like, when my work schedule is set up, I'm usually only in Budapest like 2 weeks out of the month, because I'm usually in Prague for a week, Bratislava for a couple of days for the countries I cover. still have like the good friends back in Warsaw, so I'll be in Warsaw this weekend visiting them. And then now that the Rona is allowing us to travel a little bit. Yeah, exactly. So I'll be in Greece all of next week. So first time in Greece, knocking that one off the bucket list.
That's going to be amazing, man. Greece is by far one of my favorite countries in Europe.
More the party scene, the views, the food.
God, yeah, and it's like super easy to get girls there.
Okay, nice.
It's crazy.
Like Greek chicks or what?
And like the foreign girls.
Okay.
Like, man, every European girl that goes there to Greece, it's like they've seen Mamma Mia like 10,000 times, and they just want to. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I've never seen that movie, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, I think I watched like 10 minutes of it, and I was like, no.
Nice.
Yeah.
By choice?
Yeah, by choice. No, I watched it because it came out a long time ago. I think it wasn't like I was still in high school, so I was with girls and they were watching it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home because I'm not doing this.
True.
So, yeah. Damn. Yeah, you're gonna have a blast, bro.
I'm excited, man. I'm trying to figure out how to like pace it out because when we were like in college and stuff, it was easy to do a week-long spring break and just get trashed every day.
Yeah.
But then now, like, my hangovers last like 2 days, so I need
rough,
to
man. Yeah.
balance it out a bit.
Yeah, for me at least the whole day is off.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not doing
anything.
Squat. Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
I'm with you.
It's brutal, man. Yeah, I remember when I was 16, I would just wake up, it was like 3 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
and I'd be fine. Like nothing wrong with me at all.
For sure.
And now, anyway, like when I travel now, I'm happy. I don't really like to party as much as I used to.
Okay.
Which is good.
Like while traveling? I mean, is it based more so on location or the reason that you're traveling?
Like both, I guess.
Okay.
So like, let's say like I guess in Europe, what's a big party place in Europe? Like Ibiza.
Okay.
Like
if you're doing summer thing there, Prague. If you're trying to go pretty hard to Amsterdam, Berlin.
But like for example, Ibiza and Berlin, which
Yeah.
we can say I think are like two of the biggest party places. Like they don't draw me at all.
Okay.
I don't want to go there. Like where I'd want to go now would be like some Norwegian fjords, something like more nature.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
I think that would be way
sounds
more
cold.
but it'd be way more memorable.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't remember shit anyway if I went to Ibiza
Fair.
or Berlin.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it all depends on the intention behind the trip.
That's true. Yeah, but okay.
Because I have one of my really good buddies back from the U.S. and I can't judge him for it, but for him, he travels just to like see how other people party.
Okay.
So like if he is coming to visit me in Budapest and stuff, like even when he was here back in February, we got completely trashed the first night he was here. And the second day I'm like, well, dude, this is my favorite city, so let me like show you around. And he was like, Wayne, honestly, I don't travel for that shit.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't do this tourist shit. I'm here to like, let's go see where people drink. Let's go see how they drink. Let's go see what they drink. And that's it for him.
Yeah, nightlife tourism is a thing as well.
Yeah.
For sure. It's just, I still like it, so don't get me wrong.
For sure.
I still like it. It's just not my top priority
Exactly.
anymore. So how is it living in Hungary? Like,
man, they call it Buda fucking Pest for a reason. That's what I can say. So, I mean, I came here 6 years ago for the first time. So I was studying abroad in Grenoble, France. And I had some friends from the U.S. and we were trying to decide for our spring break if we were going to go do like the Ibiza thing or then I had one guy from Miami and he was like, dude, what if we go to Eastern Europe? And then I was like, what? And he was like, let's go to Prague and Budapest and Bratislava. And I was like, I've never heard of these places in my life. So I was trying to decide like what place would my mom not want me to go?
That's the place to go.
And that's exactly why I came to Budapest and stuff. And it was insane trip. Fell in love with the city my first time there. And since then, I've been coming back like practically every year, if not a couple of times a year. I've been having friends come. So I think once my job had offered me the promotion and just said, okay, do you want to live in Budapest or in Prague? I was like, this is a no-brainer for me, man. Like Budapest has been my city. So I can't say so much like what's my experience been like in Hungary because I've really only been to Balaton once. And other than that, I've been staying in Budapest. So I still need to get out and see more of the country, the countryside and stuff. And we'll see. But in general, I've had a really positive experience here.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do outside the country as well. Well, yeah, there's Balaton, which is like the massive lake.
Yeah.
But there's also like where my mom's from. It's like filled with like wine fields, and they have like these. I don't know if you're into wine. Unfortunately, I don't like wine.
Really?
I wish I did.
Yeah.
I wish I liked wine and fish, but I don't like either of those things. I just like meat and beer.
Yeah. I was a
Like
red wine
meat.
guy until I got here, and then I was like finding men drinking white wine. I was like, all right, that's a little different. You know, I'm not too used to that. But then I started drinking it, and I'm like, this wine is pretty decent.
Yeah.
And then people here drink frutch, which I thought was a taboo in the beginning. I'm
for
like,
sure.
what are you guys mixing sparkling water with wine?
Yeah.
And my French friends think it's insane and disrespectful. But now it keeps you alive. So like you can drink for a day and not be destroyed.
Exactly. So it's like refreshing.
Yeah.
It's more of a refreshment than an alcoholic drink.
Exactly.
I think in Germany they call it a spritz.
Yeah, I think they call it spritz.
Something like that. Yeah. So like, what are the big culture shocks? Then tell me, like the difference, the massive differences between like Texas. And like Hungary.
Okay.
That are like.
So I would say in my experience thus far in Hungary, the first thing that was like the biggest shock to me is blowing your nose. Right? So, and maybe it's from Texas. Like, we are super polite.
It's not what I expected.
I know, but this is the first thing that always jumps out.
Really?
Like, yeah, because there in Texas, it's like we will, if you need to sneeze or if you're, you excuse yourself and you're gonna go to the toilet, go to the bathroom, whatever, and blow your nose.
Just to sneeze?
Exactly. You might sneeze, but then you're gonna get up and, oh gosh, I need to blow my nose.
Oh yeah.
But like, I've been in board meetings here, like with the leadership team, and all of a sudden someone's giving a presentation and you see somebody in the back just blowing their nose out all crazy all over. I'm like, what the, like, are you gonna wash your hands? No. So I think maybe Hungary had something to do with the virus spread.
I doubt, bro, we're doing fine compared to Texas.
Literally.
Come on.
Yeah. I can't, man. I love my state, but
dude, I love your state too.
Yeah, but I think we could have done better with that.
Yeah, but dude, honestly, Texas is my favorite state.
Really?
By far.
Why so?
It's what I imagined America to be like when I was a kid.
Dope.
You know, when I was a child, it's like, oh, this is America.
Exactly.
Like, this is America. And it's like the most American state and the least American state at the same time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're like, fuck all the other states, but this is Texas.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, when people ask me where I'm from,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever answered the U.S.
Texas.
Like, we were like, where are you from? I'm from Texas. And it's already like this little bit of, I don't know if it's fear or respect that they have for me a bit, but it's like, oh, from Texas, this guy has guns and all this kind of stuff. He played American football, this sort of thing. But no, Texas is fantastic. I love my state.
Dude, I love your state too. Yeah. I was in Dallas, just in Dallas and in Waco.
Okay.
Because my cousin had a professional tennis scholarship at the University of Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor, of course.
Yeah, and I got to go visit him when he was out there. And I don't know, man, I just loved it.
Yeah.
And I was 18.
Yeah.
It's like one of the funniest shit, like, moments I ever saw was like we were driving in the car and there was a dude in a pickup truck in front of us. And there was this hot ass blonde chick running on the side of the road, and this dude in the pickup truck that just takes a sandwich and just whips it out the window and hits her in the face.
Legit?
Yeah, legit, dude. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, I can't believe that just happened, and I was dying. And she was like, fuck you, assholes.
Yeah.
And they were like honking their horn and shit. And
was she like fat or something?
No, she was like,
hit her with the
she was like hot as fuck. That was the best part. She was like, oh, like doing that whole Baywatch thing.
Yeah.
Then bam, sandwich to the face.
Nice. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a normal occurrence.
Well, it was like a university.
Exactly.
It was a university town. So like,
yeah,
the girl must have been like 20, and the dudes must have been like, I don't know, like 22, 23, something like that.
That makes sense.
You know, I mean, to me back then when I was, I was like, oh, these are adults and shit. They're allowed to drink and everything.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, I think if I was to move back to the U.S. at any point, it would be going back to Texas. Like, I don't know the exact metrics for this, but they said, like, well, first off, in Texas, we've always threatened to, like, leave the U.S. because we were our own country before.
You should. Everybody mentions that.
Exactly.
There's nobody that I've met from Texas that doesn't get off mentioning that they were their own nation.
Yeah, but even if we were to leave, we would still be, like, one of the world's largest economies. So it's a huge economy. Even if you look at, like, the Navy SEAL, like, Texas just breeds weird people.
The most Navy SEALs are from Texas.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a fucking badass state, man. You guys have money, guns, fucking style.
Land, it's still cheap. Yeah. Amazing food.
Yeah, the food. Yeah. Oh, bro. Yeah.
Kind people. That's what I find, like, with Hungary, that like it's very simple for me, or it's similar, I should say, because people like kind of operate off of respect. Yeah, like, so we're pretty, even though we'll be prideful, we're quite humble in Texas, so you're not going to go around showing things. And in my experience thus far In Budapest, I can say like people are quite humble. They're very welcoming. They're smile at them. They might not smile at you originally as like the first time they see you, but if you smile, then it's oh, see ya.
Yeah, if you give, you have to like initiate the kindness. That's one thing that I didn't like in the U.S. was like everybody's like smiling at me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you smiling at me for? You don't even know me. They're like, oh, hi, how was your day? It's like, dude, I don't even know who the fuck you are. You're just walking by me on the street. And then I'm like, great, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah. And then, I would say, yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty interesting, though, because some people look at us as being, what word do I want to say? A little bit fake in that way, right?
Yes, because that's what I wanted to say but didn't want to say.
Yeah, that's real. It's real, though, because like we'll sit down with someone like on the airplane and have the most in-depth conversation, like talk about your family, fears, all this kind of stuff, and then the person you're sitting next to is probably thinking they just found their new best friend, and then as soon as you land on your flight, we're like, all right, have a good day, and walk away, never speak to them again. But I don't know, I guess we're just much more of a like acquaintance sort of culture, so you'll have like a bunch of acquaintances as opposed to
real
it's like friends. Here where people just have like the same friends that they grew up with, and those are their friends.
Basically here it's like if you're gonna have a friend, it's gonna be it's harder to make Hungarian friends for sure, but if you like have a friend, then they're like your friend. Because like Americans will say shit like, oh, you just gotta come down and visit us in California. But it's like, I know you don't fucking mean it.
Exactly.
Like, why are you saying this to me? You don't mean it. You know, if like somebody from, I would say East Europe in general says like, yo, come visit me, then they mean it 100%.
They would like take off work, show you the full city.
Absolutely.
Definitely roll out the red carpet in that way.
Yeah, I find the English are kind of similar in that aspect.
That they are more so that they would like take care of you, or they're a little bit more like the Americans.
Like if America is like Coca-Cola, then England is Diet Coke.
Okay, you could call them Pepsi.
Yeah, but it's really interesting because you can see that it's both like Anglo-Saxon cultures
sort of thing. Yeah. You definitely see the little nuances, though, right? Because like you'll have so many things that are similar, but then, like you said, on this one point of like friendships, totally different approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like it was crazy because I went to all of the Anglo-Saxon countries, almost all of them, before I went to England.
Yeah, really?
So I was in Australia, I was in the US, I was in Canada. I know the US, like, you guys had your revolution, but it was still, you came from England, and I was in all these nations, and then I went to the UK, and I was like, oh fuck, this is the root of it all. Yeah, this is where everything like came from. This is where everything spread from. This little island. And that was really cool.
True.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it, back to thinking about your purpose. If I was taking a solo trip somewhere, I'd probably be open to go to the US because I'm gonna be able to meet people quite easily.
Oh, for sure.
Versus coming. I haven't had an issue here because I will just, offer people shots, and then usually people will talk to me. But if not, if I was like a girl or something traveling to Prague or Budapest for the first time, I think it might be a little bit more of a challenge fitting in versus if you're in the US, somebody's going to come up and like check on you. So if you're in Texas and you're like sitting around looking sad, somebody's going to ask what's wrong. Yeah. And then in that way, they're going to try and make the situation better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, traveling as a girl would be like a bit scarier. Yeah, I knew like 4 girls, just girls, that went to South Korea. Okay. By themselves, which is a pretty safe like place country. South Korea is not North Korea. Anyway, like they all got robbed, like in the hostel.
In South Korea?
Yeah, in the hostel, because I guess the guys staying there, they just saw like, oh, it's just a bunch of chicks. Fuck them. They're not from here. We're just gonna steal all their stuff without them noticing.
The other people in the hostel robbed them?
Probably, yeah. Well, they don't know. They don't know who robbed them. They just got all their stuff stolen.
That's insane. That was the one. That's another thing about Europe that I think is a bit different. Is like you guys just like leave your shit out. And like trust people, like, oh, it's Europe, nobody's gonna touch it. So you go to a party or something, people put backpacks and jackets everywhere.
I don't do that personally because I've been to too many fucking places.
Okay,
but like I've seen that. A lot of friends, a lot of girls especially, they're like, whoops, I left my phone on the counter over there. Yeah, like 30 meters away. Exactly. Like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, like after being in New York, dude, like if my phone needs to be like within hands distance. I'm touching my pockets and stuff all the time, because it's a totally different vibe in that way.
Well, actually, when I lived in Barcelona, I can't. Well, that's also Europe, but that's like I swear that city is like it's like the whole city is a like tourist trap.
True.
That's what. Have you been there?
Yeah, I have, and I didn't get robbed, but I got like gypped by this restaurant because they told us that we were, what's the place called? La Rambas?
Yeah, Las Rambas.
La Bamba.
La Bamba.
Like
it's like the main street.
That main
going
strip,
down
exactly.
And
the guys had like the huge 1 liter beers, and we were asking them how much they were, and they're like, oh, 10 euros. So we said, cool. We started to go inside, and then we were like, oh no, can we sit outside? He was like, yeah, no problem. When the bill came, he was charging us like 20 euros for each of the beers, and we asked why. He was like, oh, you sat outside. Like, you didn't tell us this in the beginning, dude. So everywhere I was asking, I was having to want to like sign a contract with people before I'm agreeing to prices because they were just playing around. And they called the cops on us because I told them, I'm like, dude, I'm not paying for this shit. I'll pay half the price. And they called the cops, and the cops made us pay. I
had the cops called on me too in Barcelona, but I won't. That's a different story.
For sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, I had to take the metro like half an hour to school and half an hour back when I lived there.
Yeah.
And it's like I got to know the pickpockets because they would always be there, and I'd like stare them down. That's what I would do.
Yeah. So you can already like see who's who.
They were like shady as fuck, you know, and then you can see them like looking at other people, and then you figure it out like, oh, they're working in teams.
Gotcha.
So like one guy will bump into you, and then while you're distracted, some dude will just steal your wallet out of your back pocket.
Really?
You know, yeah.
Have you seen like videos in South America of pickpockets? Because for them, it's not even. I don't even call it pickpocket. Bro. It's like straight. I'm stealing. Yeah. I'm robbing you.
I'm robbing you right now.
Grab your phone in
middle of daylight. Yeah.
People do nothing.
Yeah. There's people all around. Nobody does shit. And it's all kids.
Yeah.
It's all kids because like they have different laws. You know. So you've got these gangs of kids that roam around. And they'll just try to rob your ass.
Yeah.
Did you see? There's a bunch of videos when they had was it the Olympics that they had or the
in Rio?
Yeah. Well, all the tourists went there, and the government didn't do a good job at keeping out all the thieves, and it's just these people getting jacked in the middle of the road.
That's insane.
That's horrible.
Yeah, man. But I mean, I guess at the same time, that's when you look at what poverty ends up producing.
Yeah.
I was like, people feel like they don't have a choice. So.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Dude.
It's unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, man. It's good. Like, how is Hungary for safety? So.
Man, honestly, so between living in Warsaw and now living in Budapest, I don't think I've like ever felt threatened.
Ever, yeah.
Yeah, even like, skin tone kind of stuff. Never felt like I've been fortunate in that way because I know some people that have had issues, but honestly, I feel quite safe and open here.
Yeah. I never felt like I was in danger here either.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was in danger in China either.
Yeah.
I didn't feel safe in the U.S. though. I'll tell you that, man.
Yeah. You think twice there. I mean, I know when I was living there, like I've seen people get robbed on the subway, like after parties, because like you're not about to take an Uber because it's like $100 to get from the club home.
What was it in New York?
Yeah, New York, in New York City.
How long were you?
I was living in New York for a little more than a year.
Damn.
So then you're trashed after a party, or if you're doing happy hour or something, and it's easy for you to sit down on the subway if you're lucky and like take a nap, and people are just like waiting, and they'll just get you as soon as it happens. So
yeah, it's fucked up, man.
Yeah, stuff is tough there, man.
Damn. Yeah. I don't know. I think one time when I was in Greece, actually, my friend got pickpocketed in Athens.
Really?
On the metro. So
okay.
I would watch Greece. You do get some sort of shady, especially in Athens. You do get some. It's also kind of like a touristy place, you know.
True.
So watch out for that when you go. But he got pickpocketed, and this lady noticed, and she like tapped him. She's like, "Hey, look at him!" And then the guy immediately dropped it. He dropped his wallet on the floor because then it's like, oh, I didn't have anything to do with it. Yeah. It's like, oh, look, there it is. There. Yeah. Oh, you dropped your shit.
That's it.
Go get it. Here you are. You're welcome.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, being in like Europe, I have adjusted my style a bit. So when I'm doing the week-long trips, I wear a fanny pack now. Something I was like I'd never wear in the U.S. But then there you could keep everything kind of tucked in and you keep it inside. So,
I don't know. I never felt like I have the need for that.
Yeah.
I just have like wallet, phone, keys.
True.
That's it.
Leave the passport at home and stuff. So I guess you don't really need it when you're in Europe because you're European. So.
All right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so Richie's telling me we got to take intermission.
Sounds good.
So
it's been 30 minutes.
It's been 30 minutes, bro.
Quick.
It goes quick, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
Alrighty, so.
Wow.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of the Hungarian Barbarian podcast with Wayne.
And we're back. Can we start with another Corona?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Perfect.
Got you.
There you go, my
boss.
friend.
Yeah.
Listen up.
See that, Sean? Another one. Oh,
Cheers
beautiful.
up.
Cheers, dude. Cheers. Is that like a thing that you guys like bang it on the?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like this. In the U.S., we definitely do a tap, but in Spain, you should probably know this one, right? Like, si tu no polla, no folla.
Oh man, I have no idea. I don't
That
remember
means
much
like
from
if
Barcelona.
you don't touch, you don't fuck. That's what they say. So over there they say, I think it's si tu no polla, no folla.
Where were you in Spain?
Just only in Barcelona, but I've had like one of my really good friends, Pablo, in Warsaw. He's from Spain, so he's teaching me all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Funny guy.
Yeah. So tell me more about Warsaw.
Yeah.
How was that? Because I don't know much about.
Yeah, man. So I'll even kind of give you the big background on how I got there.
Yeah, that'll be
because with my company, so it was 4 rotations over the course of 2 years. And your last rotation, to just make sure you could be an international leader, was you have to go abroad for it. And I remember our options were Dubai, Shanghai, Mumbai, and Warsaw. And then we had to like give the committee like a bit of a pitch for where we wanted to go and why. So I was like looking at the list, and I'm like, okay, I've been to Shanghai already, Mumbai. I love Indian food, but don't think that's where I want to go yet. And so I said Dubai. Even though I had been, I was like, all right, that'll be an expat community. I'd be able to network and build and grow and stuff there. So I gave them this full like 5-minute speech about why Dubai was the best place for me to go as part of my growth. And like their faces were just like, and they said, okay, what's your second choice? I gave them this super slight 30-second pitch on Warsaw. They had the biggest smile on their face, like, you want to go to Warsaw? So I walk out of the room like, oh, shit.
Probably everybody wanted to go to Dubai.
That's it. Everyone wanted to go to like Dubai and Shanghai. So, once they told me I was going to Warsaw, I was like, all right, cool. I get to go see Auschwitz. And they were like, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Like, he's excited to go here so he can see Auschwitz. But
yeah.
I'm a bit of a like World War II history buff.
That's
so
good, man.
it's one of the reasons I've always loved Europe, is just the historical factor. So got to Warsaw, and I was only supposed to be there for 3 months. So it was supposed to just be a bit of a short-term assignment, but got there and like fell in love with the city, ended up making a ton of friends, and met my business partner, who was a guy from Senegal, and like he's about 40 now, but this guy is super wise, and there was just a lot that he wanted to do in the world where we had very similar thinking. So he's definitely much more affluent than I am at the moment, but he had just said he needed someone who could go and execute for him, because he had the investment, he had the background, he had the network, but he needed to help make that happen. So with him in Warsaw, we ended up having multiple different types of businesses. So like restaurants, we launched some restaurants. First one was a sushi restaurant, which was a total failure. We did an African restaurant, 2 African restaurants. He has another restaurant there now, and I had a food truck with a friend. So while in Warsaw, man, it ended up being just like a bit of a life university for me. I felt like I was like getting my MBA there, because I'm balancing my job, but also then needing to go work and like own and manage businesses as well after work, and still occasionally during work sort of thing. It was committed there on weekends. My experience with Polish people was really great as well, because cannot tell you the number of times that I would like be at a bar, and it's kind of similar to Hungary in that people would look at you, but they would just look at you, like not smile at you or anything until you smile or you nod or something, and then okay, they would open up. But I can't tell you the number of times I've been at a bar and like a guy would walk up to me and say, hey, just limited English, you're black. And I'm like, oh, shit, really? And then he's like, oh, what are you doing in Poland? I'm like, well, I live here. I work here. I love Warsaw. He's like, what? You love Warsaw? We must drink vodka. And then we'd end up drinking and be best friends after. So, people in Poland were super open, but it was a good place to, like, grow up. I felt like, because it was right after college. So this one I was able to, after the time in New York and Atlanta, so I was able to come into myself a bit more in Central Europe, and it was a really, really good experience. So made it easy to travel around and kind of helped me get this opportunity that I have here now, because I understand the Central European market, the mindset a lot more, and then how to be able to like communicate and make things happen.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
So you were doing like these side businesses along with your work.
Yeah.
And it was basically restaurant management?
Mainly restaurant management. Yeah. So yeah, he had a few other things that I was helping him out with, but that was the focus for sure.
Amazing, dude. That's sick. And you could like deal with it too, yeah? Like it was
yeah.
Did you feel like ever like I was like, oh fuck, what did I get myself into?
All the time. All the time. But that's been my approach with life.
That's
is
a good,
like, for me, if there's anything like I'm afraid of or a challenge, I'm just like, fuck it, let's go do this shit.
Exactly.
Let's get after it. And
exactly
worst case scenario, I'm like, I just go home after, right? Or if I lose my money, I'm sure I'll have this experience now. I'll figure out a way that I can make it back and such. And then it also tells you what you don't want to do. Exactly. Because like we worked with great people, but like if I never had to own or manage a restaurant again in my life, that might be too soon. You know, like that would be, I would be totally fine with not having to go back into that industry. But it was cool. It was really good because it was a totally different environment. Just like working during the day, and you're working with people that have like college degrees. They have a different approach towards work. Versus then you go to the restaurants and you have a totally different profile of people. Your clientele is totally different. It's much harder to keep them happy, because everyone loves to have an opinion, because they're like paying for this food and such, you know. So you definitely have to make sure you keep them happy. And I kind of get it from my dad. It's just like this workaholic approach, because for him, even though he's had like his main job, he always finds his hobbies that he's able to try to monetize. So he's like, okay, this is something I like to do. I really like photography. Let me do a photography business. So for me, it's always, if I've had these, just seeing him is, okay, if I have some extra hours in the day, what can I do? What is it that I like to do, and how can I potentially monetize this sort of thing? So that's why now, since I'm not doing the restaurants, I've been getting back into the financial markets. Do that quite a bit, in martial arts, and looking for opportunities.
Yeah, it's sick that you're all over the place.
Yeah.
It's great, yeah.
I mean, it's good. I think it's all about, the world is about connections.
Absolutely.
For things, you know? So even this political science background has helped. The corporate background helps me understand things. So now whenever I'm trading in the markets, I can already think from these different perspectives. So I can make the connections to say, okay, if I see that oil is dropping super low because of the amount of supply, then the next question is now, okay, not just how can you make money through oil, but where does this oil have to go? Yeah. People need to store it somewhere. So you start to look into storage companies and to say, okay, maybe I should look to invest there. And with time, you know, you might end up losing money, or lots of times if you think it out well enough and you have the right trading strategy, it could end up being make some money from it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know, the stock exchange and all this stuff. For me, it just looks like a big casino. Honestly, it kind of is. I mean, there is logic. I mean, it's just from what I heard from my friends that do it. They just say it's reading the news, just having as much information as you can get your hands on.
Absolutely.
And you kind of like, if you want to do it like just that, like just not like it's like a hobby level, you really need to have real connections.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. It's like you said, it's a bit of a casino, especially if you're operating as a retail investor, because there's so much information you don't have. Depending on the type of trading platform you use, there can be certain things that like might not let you short a market. And the markets fall way quicker than they rise. So then there will be hedge funds that are just able to make money simply because they don't need to go through a brokerage house to make this sort of thing happen. So it comes down to the information you have, the trading strategy you have. So people come to me and they say, well, Wayne, how can I do this? And I'm like, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to your strategy, man. Yeah. I can't break it down for you to say this is how you're going to get rich, because once you're in the markets, and like you are actually watching yourself like lose or make hundreds of dollars in seconds, it's like, okay, can your emotions take this and say, let me still wait and watch what the markets is going to do? Are you going to freak out? Or if the other way around, if you actually see you're making a couple of hundred, are you going to say, okay, man, I'm going to get really greedy and hope I can make thousands, and then market turns around on you and you lose everything? Yeah. So it's all about your strategy, staying humble, and kind of just staying focused on the go. I had had many years of losses to learn to get to this point.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I invested in the stock market for briefly, and then I just stopped doing it because I had no idea what I was doing, and it was just I lost money on it, and I was like, I don't know about you, but I was like, I had dreams about it. Like I would have dreams of me looking at my phone while I'm sleeping and just like either looking at it go up or down or whatever the fuck, and then I'd wake up in the morning and like cold sweat and I'd be checking it and I'm like, oh god, this is like literally a nightmare. Like I can't be doing this.
Dude, for 2 years I was trading in the futures market, and the futures market trades like 23 hours a day. So the stock market is like 8 hours, but the futures market's 23. And I had buzzers and things set if price would come into my level. So there was like 2 years I didn't sleep because it would be 2 a.m. and then beep, so I need to go check on so I can go take a trade and this sort of stuff. Or you would be sleeping and there was a certain sound it would make when you lost money, and then you would just kind of cry yourself back to sleep. It'll be 3 a.m. This is.
I can imagine you're like on a date with a girl, and then you're just having the best time, and then you hear that noise, and it's just like, oh,
exactly.
Fuck, I guess you're paying this time.
That's it. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, that's what they're coming to order. Would you like anything to drink? Can I take a water, please?
Yeah. I'll just chew on my napkin.
Exactly. Yeah. So markets are fun, man. But I mean, I think it also comes down, especially considering the sort of environment that we're in right now, where we're probably going to be having to deal with a lot of inflation. And if you're dealing with inflation, this is going to say if I had, let's say like inflation's at 2% or something like this, and you had $100, and this $100 you're just trying to keep it in cash, that means every year you're losing $2 by just leaving it in cash.
Exactly.
So you're better off potentially putting this, even if you put it into an index fund like the S&P 500 or something, where I don't know, I think it's year over year increases is around like between 6% to 12%, can't quite remember, but you put it there, at a minimum you'll probably be beating inflation in the long run.
That's smart.
So that's why I said it depends on your strategy. It might the market is going to go up and down like this, so you just keep putting money in and watch what happens, or you can try to trade a bit more and make money when it goes up and down.
Yeah, for me personally, I'd rather invest in like properties.
Yeah, real estate.
Sure. Honestly, it's just like a safer bet.
Yeah.
Especially here in Europe, it's like, especially here, I think in like Central East Europe, it's like this place is getting so popular.
For sure.
And even the properties that we own they've just gone up in value, sometimes even doubling or tripling in like 5-6 years. It's ridiculous.
But do you not feel like we're on the cusp of a bit of a bubble right now?
I mean, yeah, look, dude, this has been the most like unstable, crazy year since the world wars. Yeah. You know, like this shit isn't, we haven't, this is there. The last time there was a crisis at such a global scale, it was World War II. Yeah. So I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And that's the best answer I got. Honestly, that's the most truthful as I can be about it. I don't know.
That's real. But even if if we don't even refer to like the COVID times, because I can say that's the one thing I've learned the most about being here is I really don't understand how people are able to live on some of the salaries that people are making here, because
that's the issue,
if I look at I know people my age are just graduating with the masters and they're making like $300K gross a month. And they're trying to save up to buy a flat in Budapest, like in the city center. And I'm like, why are you doing that?
$300K in forints, not in dollars.
Yeah, in forints, exactly.
Which is like 1,000 euros or so. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm like, I don't even know how they're able to really like live and function, and with the money they're saving, they're saying, okay, I want to put this towards a flat. I'm like, who knows? You might buy this flat at this price, and then if it's a bubble and the bubble bursts, now the value is going to be much lower. Yeah. Yes, it's still yours for sure.
But you know, it can go up again.
Yeah, just like the markets. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and
something tangible. I think that helps.
Yeah, I like tangible things. True. To be honest, like I don't know, like Bitcoin and this kind of stuff, it freaks me out, man.
Really?
Yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah. For me, I mean, I don't know. I'm simple.
I hear you. Man.
Yeah, dude. So what would you say is like the best advice that you ever received, you think?
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question.
You can take your time.
Yeah. I can only choose one?
No, you can, just some wisdom for everybody that might be watching.
Yeah. So I would say two things that really stand out that I think about the most. The first would be to do something that scares you every day. So like first off, if you're doing something that scares you, two things are going to happen. One, you're going to fail, and you're going to get a little bit more comfortable with failure when you're failing every day. It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to be afraid of it as much.
Exactly.
But then in the second point, if you go do something that scares you, and you might actually realize it's not so bad. Like, what have I been stressing about? Because it's like on the point of maximum fear is like if you're going skydiving or something, right? I think Will Smith was talking about this. Like, that's when he was the most afraid, but the second after, it was bliss. It was like, why was I afraid? It was so much fun.
Yeah, dude, I can totally relate to that. I know I have a job now where I gotta like call people randomly. Yeah. Cold calls basically.
Exactly.
And I was also like terrified.
Yeah.
And then after I did the first one, I was like, oh, I feel so good. I feel like literally like a weight has come off my chest and I'm no longer afraid, and it's just been sick since then. So.
Exactly. Because I think us males, we have a really big issue with like fear of rejection.
It was like ego.
Yeah, that ego factor. Yeah. Because we look at, if like you were to go approach a girl or you cold call or something, and it doesn't work well, we like look at it as a reflection of ourselves.
You take it personally.
Just an L. You took a loss.
Yeah.
So I would say that's one thing. The other thing that I really try to remember, which I still struggle with, is they say that we like far overestimate what we can do in a day, but we far underestimate what we can do in like a year or 5 years. So we live in this world of this instant gratification. Yeah,
that's never been more true, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, all right, if I'm going to go, I want to lose weight. I'm going to go to the gym for a week, and I'm pissed because I didn't drop any kilos. Yeah, you got to push myself so hard. I'm tired. But you don't even need to go that hard as you did for that week. Even if you did half of that, but you did it for 2 years straight, you had that consistency, you will end up accomplishing way more than you thought was possible. So I think that's what's wrong with us, or that's an opportunity, that our generation has, is to just stick to it and understand, guys, stuff is going to take time. It doesn't mean that you're like not a winner because you're 30 and you're not Mark Zuckerberg yet. Yeah. That's cool. Like you're launching this podcast now. Who knows, dude? It might take 2 years before it jumps off and gets really popular.
Yeah, dude. This will, if it even happens, it's not going to happen like next week.
Hey, it could. It could.
Well, but I'm not thinking in my mind like you know what I mean. Like, that would be foolish. No, anything that's worth anything takes time.
Yeah, and you're doing it for the right reasons. Yeah, because for you, it's also like you enjoy this.
Yeah, I'm having fun, dude. Like I don't expect. What do I expect from this? Just to meet people and make connections. Which is what's been happening. That's what I expect from it. Yeah. If something else happens, fuck yeah. But that's about it. I just like talking to people and having a good time and drinking beer.
You get to do that in your free time, and I think you get to learn some stuff in the process as well.
That's exactly. It's like for self-education and networking, I guess. That's mainly the reason why.
Get that added perspective. Get to beat on this. These are called dongs or something, right?
Well, gong.
Gong.
Yeah, dong is something else.
Wow, I just learned something today.
You could beat the gong with your dong though. That's
is that before?
That'll be episode 69.
There we go. Is that before or after the beers?
Damn. Yeah, dude. Well, that's some good advice. Yeah. Yeah, I would say like the most valuable human asset that anybody can have is grit.
Okay, true.
It's just sticking to it.
True.
No matter what, you just stick to it. You don't give up.
Yeah.
Because then even if you don't end up where you wanted to end up, you still end up doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right? So, and who knows?
Yeah. And I think it's such a fine line, right? Because people will talk about grit, but then other people say, okay, if someone's showing this grit, they're just stubborn. They won't give up. And it's so easy, I think, as well for like our family members to say, oh, well, you want to start your own business. Unless they did the same, oh, you shouldn't do that because life is going to be so hard for you the next 5 years. Go get your MBA, just go get a nice paying job and go live your life and stuff. So then it's already this additional pressure you're trying to fight because you don't have that support system you might be looking for. So it is really you, and you start questioning yourself, am I just being stubborn or am I showing grit and potentially chasing some of my dreams?
Chase it, go and learn. That's it, because no matter what, you will learn, especially at this age when we're in our 20s. We're still like so young. Like there's, you know what I mean? It's like it's crazy when I think about it. Like when I think about my dad, he didn't start going to university until he was 26.
Wow.
And I'm already done with my master's.
Nice. And look where your dad is now.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. So I don't really have any fear, I would say. I have a little bit of anxiety.
True.
But everybody does.
True.
You know, so just shut the fuck up and deal with it.
Yeah. And I think even, I mean, the word fear, like we gotta get over that. So like it's okay to say, yes, I'm afraid of something.
Yeah, it's good to admit.
Yeah, because if you even, someone else said to someone else much smarter than me when they were talking about like the concept of fear and things, is like our courage is not the absence of fear, but it's like still being able to move on despite the fear.
Exactly.
That's when you're courageous.
Yeah, because if you're not afraid, you're not courageous. You're just not afraid.
Yeah, you're on drugs or something.
Yeah. Courage is when you know the risks and you're scared of the risks, but you continue to go ahead anyway.
You still get after it.
Yeah.
You know, and those are also like the stories that end up motivating people. You don't want to hear about the kid that had the richest parents in the world and they didn't have to work, so they had their own business and it was nobody gives a fuck.
It's like you think about Amazon. Yeah. The guy, what's his name? Jeff Bezos. And, you know, congratulations to him for what he's done.
Absolutely.
But, dude, he got like a $300,000 loan from mommy and daddy.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like $150,000.
Exactly.
So.
And then that makes other people, like, it demotivates them in a way because then they're already going to say, I can't do this because of this.
Always looking for excuses.
Absolutely.
You know, people are always looking like, it's like, oh, I can't do this. I'm too weak, or running is not for me.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck. There's always a million reasons not to do something.
Yeah.
But you just need one to just do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just get after it every day. Do a little bit every single day.
That's the shit, man. Yeah. So that's why I think grit. You just do it every day. That's exactly it. It's like a super what's it called? Superpower.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, man.
Yeah, dude. 100%. So that was a good talk. My next question is, let's talk about the U.S. a little bit because it's kind of been in the spotlight these days.
Let's do it.
With these whole Black Lives Matter protests.
Yeah.
I'd just like to ask your opinion or perspective on this and what you,
Yeah. So, where to start with this? Huge topic. So I would say in already what's been going on with the Black Lives Matter protests, if we just want to focus on this summer, because it's been something that's been going on for years, you know. Yeah. So it's not something fresh, right?
No, so, it's been going on for like 100 years, more than
Exactly, and I think we also live in a bit of a society where, like, we have just this big like blame culture sort of thing. So, where if they even look at one thing like Black Lives Matter, the only thing they choose to focus on is the police, and the police that have been, you know, unfairly and unjustly shooting unarmed people, sort of thing. And then rather than just accepting that a good number of people from one sort of way of life are saying this is happening to them, people are trying to point to statistics and reasons for why it's not true. You know, they're saying, it's not the police, it's not this sort of thing. And for me, I think that we have to change the narrative about all of it. This is what it really comes down to, is even when it's saying like, all right, so you take a hashtag like defund the police. Yeah. This is probably going to be a negative sounding hashtag, but the idea behind that is not saying we don't need police, but it's saying if we look at the amount of money that we're putting into police, maybe we should start to question the police training. Maybe if we put a little bit less money into the police and put that money into education, we might now be able to produce a society of citizens that are less likely to break some of the laws. So then you don't need as many police officers. So I think those are some of the things that we need to change, and that it's not a matter like of just police being bad. You know, I definitely don't think that. And I think if anything, like the media is been set up to distract us. It's been set up to distract us, number one. Number two, it's been set up to divide us, because this is the biggest thing for me for the Black Lives Matter versus like all lives matter debate. Is like, of course, all lives matter. There's no question about that, guys. But it's not like a black or a white thing. It's more of a matter of like the haves versus the have-nots. Okay. And as long as and most of us, even if we think we have something, in the grand scheme of things, we're all have-nots. Yeah. It's good. If you're not in that top 1%, you're a have-not. Yeah. And, you know, and those haves are the ones that are going to be setting up these sorts of fights and things, so that we're arguing between ourselves while they're passing laws to be able to protect their money and continue to protect their interests.
I agree that the whole thing is a big distraction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't want to call the movement a distraction, because I certainly wouldn't say that, but I would say we need to change the narrative a bit more to say, like, guys, right now, black people in the U.S. seem to be struggling. So we need to help them out. And if there was ever a day for me where I see like, okay, like we're the minority, but if it somehow flipped and let's say Hispanic Americans became the majority and now white Americans started to struggle, I would say we need to help out white people too.
Right.
Like it's about being human. And I think in the world we're in now, especially if we look at this response to COVID, like whether you believe in the coronavirus or not, it's this question of just humanity. And do we still have this compassion for fellow humans?
Yeah. I would agree with you. Change the narrative, and it is all a big distraction to what the 1% of the 1% are doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that we're losing our focus, and we're just looking at what we have these social media like warriors, right? That are saying, okay, I went and posted something on social media or argued about this. I did my duty.
I know, it just makes you feel good, and you get like this immediate satisfaction.
That gratification.
Like I did my part. Yeah, man.
But like I said, we all have much more to do. I would say like for us, the Black Lives Matter itself probably needs to structure its agenda a bit more, to not just say, okay, defund the police, but here are 5 to 10 key things that we would really like to see happen in the next year. And whoever is going to be running for election, like this is in order to help secure the black vote, this is some things that we need you to promise to deliver on. I think that more so would help get some structure behind it. People would know what you want. Politicians would know what you want. And then you could aim your anger at something.
Yes.
Like I don't even look at the revolts or the riots and things as something so terrible. Of course, it destroyed property, and that's not a good thing. You know, some people were killed and injured in the process. Also, definitely not a good thing. But this got worldwide attention. Yes. And if people didn't start destroying and vandalizing things, it probably would have stayed quiet and it would have continued a bit more. But now we're in this position that it's a real big question of what's next. So what do we do now? And each and every one of us have a bit of a, like I said, if we have this compassion and if we're really human and caring about one another, where we have this moral obligation to support each other a bit more. So even if you are a 20-year-old guy in Hungary, yes, you might not be able to directly support the Black Lives Matter movement, but how can you do that? Maybe if you find some of your friends in Hungary being racist towards black people or towards gypsies or something, you speak up about that.
Yeah.
Say, guys, all right, it's not cool. Yeah, we made a joke or something, but don't do this. That's not okay. And you're already helping the movement.
Yeah, sure.
Like when we are choosing to say, okay, I don't have any power, once we feel powerless, that's how the haves win.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one. Yeah. What would you say would be like sort of a milestone to reach that would ease this problem? Yeah. Like if we can crystallize like one thing that would be like, okay, we actually made some progress. Yeah.
One thing I would definitely say would, if we were to look at so I think it's going to be linked back to the equality of opportunity, not so much the equality of outcome. Okay. I'm much more of an advocate for forcing or pushing for some like equal opportunity rather than trying to force an outcome, because Jordan Peterson, plenty of people talk about this as like why equality of outcome is not necessarily the best way, because it takes too much like control and other factors that we need to read much more about. Absolutely. But I would say if you look at some of the statistics that are out there around just the average like black household, right, in the US, and the amount of income that they have versus the average white household, and they look at like the wealth gap between them. So I would say if we were able to help increase the wealth gap for black kids especially, then they would be put in areas where now they can have better opportunity. Because if you look at many black people in the US are like born into poverty. And if you look as well in those impoverished areas, there is a lot of lead in water. And there's data proving that lead in water has an effect on brain development.
Yeah, wasn't that in Flint, Michigan?
Yeah, Flint was an example, but I can't think of the cities, but there are some cities that have like double the amount of lead that there was even in Flint. Jesus. Right? So like, and this has been proven has an effect on your brain development. So maybe we take some ways to clean up that water or something, so that now these impoverished children or the people that are taking a step back, let's give them an opportunity to be able to operate on an equal playing field a bit more. So something like that, I think, would be if we could help bridge the generational wealth gap. It's not a matter of just I'm going to give you $1,000, but maybe as every black child right now for the next 50 years doesn't have to pay for college. It's not going to necessarily like kill colleges, but now the kids can know. I don't have to think about not going to college because I don't have enough money.
Yeah, man.
That's not going to be a problem for them.
I agree with you, man. I mean, I think that for everybody in the U.S., it should be much easier to go to university.
Yeah.
You know, not just for black people, but for everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely agree.
I mean, this is why I came home.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I'm going to be like, what, if I go to a decent university, it'd be at least, what, $100,000 in debt?
For sure.
And I'd be 22 years old. I'd have negative $100,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's infinitely worse than having nothing at all.
Yeah. And then, again, that sets you back because now you have to spend your life trying to work your way out of this debt.
Dude, even like my friends in university now, from the States.
Exactly.
It's like, dude, they're going to be paying off that debt for the next 10, 15 years.
For sure.
And for them, I can't believe that for them it's like normal.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, this is normal. It's like, no, man. At least for me, that's not normal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is why I say again that if we look at, it's not just like a black versus white thing. It's whoever needs to be needing this help. We should help everyone that needs the help. And from studying political science, I appreciate this because it teaches you to look at other systems. And that's the thing that I think we forget. Is like we already look to say, okay, if we're going to help certain people out, now it equals communism. That is not the case.
That's not the case.
You can look at Europe and say, okay, look at some of these countries here, learn from them.
Yeah, we had communism here. It didn't help anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, we can learn and make sure that we can make some adjustments so we don't do what they did. That's the beauty of being human, is this power to adapt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just crazy how this it was like a ignition.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. This year's been a perfect storm.
It really has.
Yeah.
You know, I was saying earlier, maybe I said this before in a different podcast, but like the shit that's happened in the past 6 months usually happens over the course of a decade.
For sure.
This year is like, it's like on steroids, like you know what I mean, like.
Absolutely. But if I had to give my theory, I would say things are going to get worse before they get better.
I absolutely agree with you, man.
Like things are going to potentially get a lot worse before they get better.
You remember in April? I don't know. I was thinking like, oh yeah, by the time June comes around, this will all be over. Yeah, I think it's going to be a couple of years before we forget about Corona.
Easily.
Even the Black Plague lasted for 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, let's look at the basics, right? So this is, again, the advantage to me of having the corporate background a bit. I know that if something's happening in Q2, we're not going to find out the effects of that until August. You know, once you're at the end of Q2, when you need to now report this, and then we can find out our clients, how bad they got hurt, how much money they have to now invest in us for the next coming quarters. Right. You know, that's going to be one big factor for people who make their money for the year just through the summer, for example. Yeah. Now they lost their income for the year.
Yeah, the tourism.
Exactly.
What's it called when you?
Like remittances.
When you take care of people, you know what I mean. Like if you have a restaurant. Yeah. What's that called? Like. But
you're not saying like if you're sending money back to like another country, because that's remittances. Like if you're a migrant worker.
No, I'm just saying like businesses.
Like hospitality.
Oh, that's it. Hospitality is fucked.
Oh, totally.
Fucked. Like I think in the U.S., 50% of the restaurants are closed now.
Yeah, and saying for good. And if you think about it again, the basic premise of a vaccine, there are 9 billion people or something on the planet. Even if we 7 billion on the planet. Even if we put out a vaccine tomorrow that works. Yeah. How long is it going to take to vaccinate the planet?
No, and like imagine like the struggle for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Who's going to pay for that?
Yeah, exactly. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it first?
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
What's up, Richie? We got time? Finished? All right, bro.
Good topic though, man.
Yeah. Well, hopefully in the future I plan to do like longer ones, not just 1 hour ones.
It's all good, man.
But I think for now it's okay.
Giving people the little taste of things to come, you know.
Exactly. So, thank you very much, man, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
And, cheers, man.
Cheers for this, man. Let's finish these up.
Let's go.